The drama surrounding this fight wasn't just about two men stepping into a ring, it was about time itself standing face to face with ambition. On one side stood Timothy Bradley Jr., young, undefeated, hungry, carrying the weight of expectation and the promise of superstardom. On the other stood Joel Casamayor, a battle-worn veteran, a craftsman of the ring, a man who had seen everything boxing could offer and take away. 40 years old, but still dangerous, still clever, still proud. As the referee called both fighters to the center, the air felt heavy with anticipation. Instructions were given, gloves were raised, and there was that brief, almost sacred moment when both men touched gloves. Respect, yes, but also a silent agreement that everything was about to change. For Bradley, this was a gateway. For Casamayor, perhaps one last stand. From the very first seconds, the contrast between them became clear. Bradley moved with urgency, his feet alive, his energy restless, like a storm waiting to break. Casamayor, meanwhile, carried himself like a chess master, measured, patient, always calculating. But even in those early exchanges, something felt off. Their feet tangled, their bodies collided awkwardly. It wasn't just a clash of styles, it was a clash of eras. Casamayor wasted no time reminding everyone of his experience. He grabbed, turned, leaned, subtle tricks, some bending the rules, all designed to disrupt rhythm. He wasn't here to entertain. He was here to survive, to frustrate, to outthink. Every punch Bradley threw seemed to be followed by a clinch, a spin, a disruption. It was messy, uncomfortable, and exactly the kind of fight a veteran like Casamayor wanted. But Bradley didn't flinch. He had prepared for this. He knew what he was stepping into. This wasn't just about landing punches, it was about solving a puzzle that had broken many before him. And slowly, methodically, he began to adjust. The first round felt like a test of patience. Neither man fully committed, both probing, both measuring. Casamayor landed a few sharp counters, flashes of the brilliance that once made him one of the most feared fighters in the sport. Bradley responded with volume, activity, trying to impose his pace. It was close, so close that even the commentators couldn't agree on who had taken it. But the fight wasn't going to stay balanced for long. By the second round, Bradley began to find his rhythm. His jabs snapped with more authority, his combinations flowed with greater confidence. He started to look like the younger man, not just in age but in energy, in hunger, in belief. Casamayor, for all his skill, began to show subtle signs of wear. His reactions were just a fraction slower, his movements just a touch heavier. And Bradley noticed. A sharp right hand landed just before the bell, a statement punch that echoed through the arena. It wasn't just about scoring, it was about sending a message. The tide was beginning to turn. As the third round unfolded, Bradley's confidence grew. He pressed forward more aggressively, throwing with intent, trying to break through the veteran's defenses. Casamayor, however, refused to be overwhelmed. He clung, he countered, he disrupted. It wasn't pretty, but it was effective enough to keep Bradley from fully taking over. Still, the crowd began to sense something. There was a shift happening. Bradley wasn't just competing anymore, he was taking control. The frustration, though, was visible. Every time Bradley tried to unleash, Casamayor would tie him up. The rhythm would break, the momentum would stall. It was a veteran's game, and for a moment, it threatened to pull Bradley into a slower, uglier fight. But then came the turning point. It didn't happen all at once. It came in layers. Bradley began targeting the body. At first, it was subtle, just a few shots here and there. But then it became a strategy, a deliberate, calculated assault. He wasn't just trying to win rounds anymore. He was trying to break his opponent down. And it started to work. Casamayor's legs, once steady, began to betray him. His balance wavered. His movements lost their sharpness. Each body shot seemed to sink deeper, to linger longer. Bradley sensed it and pressed harder. The crowd could feel it too. The whistles grew louder whenever Casamayor grabbed, the energy rising whenever Bradley unleashed. There was a hunger in the arena, not just for victory, but for a decisive moment. And then it came. A short punch on the inside, quick, sharp, almost invisible in real time. But the effect was undeniable. Casamayor dropped. For a split second, everything froze. Then the realization hit. The veteran was down. He got up, of course. Fighters like him always do. But something had changed. The illusion of control, of mastery, had cracked. Bradley saw it. The crowd saw it. And most importantly, Casamayor felt it. What followed was relentless. Bradley attacked the body with a fury that felt almost personal. Left hooks dug into the ribs. Right hands thudded into the midsection. Over and over again, he punished the same target, refusing to let the older man recover. Casamayor tried to survive. He grabbed more. He leaned harder. He even resorted to low blows, desperate attempts to slow the onslaught. But it only made things worse. A point was taken. The deficit grew. Round after round, the pattern repeated. Bradley advanced. Casamayor retreated. The younger man grew stronger. The veteran grew weaker. There were moments, brief flashes, where Casamayor reminded everyone who he once was. A sharp counter here, a clever move there. But they were just that, moments, not enough to change the course of the fight. By the 7th round, the writing was on the wall. Bradley was in complete control. His punches carried authority. His movements were confident, assured. He wasn't just winning, he was dominating. Casamayor, meanwhile, looked like a man fighting not just an opponent, but time itself. His legs were heavy. His reactions slow. The body shots had taken their toll, draining whatever remained of his strength. And yet, he refused to quit. That was the thing about fighters like Casamayor. They carried a pride that couldn't be measured. Even as the fight slipped away, even as his body betrayed him, he kept going. He kept trying. But Bradley was relentless. In the 8th round, it all came together. The attacks were sharper. The combinations more fluid. Bradley mixed his punches beautifully, body to head to body, keeping Casamayor guessing, keeping him under constant pressure. Then came the shot. A crushing blow to the body, right on the liver. The kind of punch that doesn't just hurt, it paralyzes. Casamayor went down again. This time, it felt different. He rose, but slowly. Pain etched across his face. The fight was no longer a contest. It was a countdown. Bradley moved in, composed but ruthless. He knew the moment had arrived. He didn't rush blindly. He set it up, he picked his shots, and then he struck. Another body shot, another collapse. This time there was no doubt. From the corner, the signal came. Enough was enough. The fight was over. Timothy Bradley Jr. had done it. An 8th round technical knockout. A definitive statement. Not just a win, but a performance that demanded attention. As the referee waved it off, Bradley stood tall, breathing heavy but steady, knowing he had passed the test. Across the ring, Casamayor sat, the weight of the moment settling in. He had given everything he had left. But time, as it always does, had caught up. In the end, it wasn't just about youth versus experience. It was about evolution. About the moment when one era gives way to another. Bradley had proven he belonged. Not just as a contender, but as a force. A fighter ready for the biggest stages, the biggest names. And Casamayor? He left behind a legacy of grit, of skill, of unforgettable battles. Even in defeat, there was respect. Because nights like this aren't just about winners and losers. They're about moments. Moments that remind us why we watch, why we care, why we keep coming back. So what did you think of Bradley's performance? Was this the fight that truly announced his arrival among the elite? And could Casamayor have done anything differently, or was this simply the inevitable passing of time? Let me know your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more deep storytelling fights just like this.